The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRCMedia, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
This week on FRCMedia News. With one snowstorm down and another one possibly on the way, how is the city preparing for the snow and cold? One prominent local Democrat is not seeking re-election in 2026. What happens next in the race for district attorney? And local healthcare agencies collaborate to identify the needs of residents on the South Coast. All this and more coming up. It's Thursday, January 22nd, 2026. This is FRCMedia News. I'm Keith Tebow. Fall River saw its largest snow total of the winter season to date last weekend, and forecasts are pointing to a larger potential snow event this weekend. Mayor Paul Coogan says when it comes to plowing city streets, the city is still seeking individuals or companies to work for the city as plow drivers at rates that are competitive. The mayor says officials will meet Friday to devise a strategy of attack for what may lie ahead this weekend.
These people that we work with have all done this a number of times, and we'll look for places where we're a little weak. We'll look for places where we may be a little too strong, and we'll try to balance out service for the whole community. People should right now on Wednesday, as you said, Keith, keeping an eye on that weather. Start making plans for where they're going to park their car, what they need to pick up, because again, as you said, if this storm, as bad as it is, gives us a break, or as bad as they're saying, gives us a break and comes in on a Sunday afternoon, we just need people to stay off the roads, park on the correct side for the parking bans, and let the people go to work that are going to clear this city up so we can all get back to work hopefully on Monday.
The mayor says the city has been proactive in attempting to protect those who are homeless in the face of extremely cold weather. The city is partnering with Stepping Stone Incorporated's First Step In to open a temporary warming center from 4 p.m. to 8 a.m. when the temperature dips below 20 degrees. If the cold weather persists, Christ the Rock Church on Rock Street is open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. The mayor says the city's efforts in sheltering the homeless this winter have been largely successful, but not without challenges.
We accommodate them with food, a place to sleep. They can get up to the YMCA if they need to take a shower, which is a block away. So we provide a lot of services for people that need help and need support, and it's always a struggle, Keith, because when you talk to them, I mean, we're working with someone the other day. They were evicted. You get an eviction on your record, no one wants to rent to you. You go down and you act up in a homeless shelter, they don't want you there. And this is a real live scenario. So you act up in a homeless shelter, they don't want you. We put them in a motel, they act up there, they don't want you. So where do they go? What people, you got to do something. Do what? If people don't want them, and you can't, when you call up and say, I'm sending Keith Tebow or I'm sending Paul Coogan, and you and I have a black X next to our name, I don't know what you do.
2026 is a state and county election year, and there's already some intrigue in one local race. This week, Bristol County District Attorney Tom Quinn announced he will not seek re-election to another 4-year term. In his announcement, he said, quote, "It has been a great honor and privilege to serve the citizens of Bristol County. I will be forever grateful for the support I receive from the DA staff, my family, and members of the community. I've tried to be a district attorney who listened, who respected differing perspectives, and who worked to ensure that justice was administered thoughtfully and fairly to all." Attorney Quinn spent nearly 40 years as a prosecutor. Even though it's early in the election process for the next district attorney, there is a candidate who threw his name into the ring last fall. Republican Seth Aiken is the former Fall River City Administrator and the City Attorney who served in the offices of Attorney Quinn and former District Attorney Sam Sutter.
So, obviously it makes the race a little bit easier whenever there's an open seat and there's no incumbent. I think it elevates the conversation. It makes the race a little more open. It certainly is going to attract, I think, likely more Democrats, but maybe another Republican, who knows. And I'm ready for that. The key here is to get the message out to as many people as possible. A lot of people think that Massachusetts is a blue state, that it's mostly Democrat. In fact, it's mostly unenrolled. The vast majority of people, I think almost 60%, are not enrolled in a party. And so that indicates to me that they're interested in the person and not just the party affiliation. And if somebody's interested in the person, that means they're hopefully interested in the message. And so getting the message to as many people as possible that we can make our neighborhoods safer, that the people that you and I care about trying to live and work here in Bristol County are less safe than they were 10 years ago. And there's ways to turn that around.
Attorney Aiken says he remains focused on improving the effectiveness of the DA's office.
Whether I was running against Tom Quinn or someone else, the office needs to change. The more I'm in the district court just about every day, and I talk to lawyers and I talk to witnesses and victims and defendants and people at every stage and with every perspective on the criminal justice system. And it doesn't feel functional. It just doesn't feel effective. I don't think victims of crime feel heard or seen. You see 2/3 of the cases in the trial session getting dismissed every day, at least. You see, cases, or you see the court being bogged down with cases that could have been resolved, but the young DAs are just given no discretion, no ability to resolve cases really on their own. They don't have the training or support to do it. They exist in kind of a culture of fear of getting in trouble, so they just don't do anything. All of those things conspire to create a system that just doesn't work for the average person. And frankly, I don't think it works for somebody who's charged, and I certainly don't think it works for somebody who's a victim of crime. And it's got to be better. It can be better.
No one else has yet to announce publicly their intentions to run in the race. Nomination papers for office will be available February 10th and must be returned to local election offices for certification by April 28th. Massachusetts 4th District Congressman Jake Auchincloss, who represents Fall River, says he plans to focus on affordability and supporting projects of need within the cities and towns he serves in 2026. For Fall River, the 3-term Democratic congressman hopes to help the city with issues related to quality of life and public safety.
One is housing and economic development. I've been a close partner to the mayor and the state delegation in expanding housing opportunities on the waterfront, expanding economic development opportunities in the Flint neighborhood through infrastructure, water, grants, and I'll continue to do that. And then also law enforcement and addiction services. I was speaking to law enforcement officers this morning actually about challenges with narcotics trafficking up 995 coming from Providence, Rhode Island, and just continuing to ensure public safety and be a partner in that issue.
Congressman Auchincloss says that for the Democrats to regain control of the House in 2027, the focus needs to remain on lowering costs for all Americans, rather than the latest Trump administration's MAGA talking points.
What the president is trying to do, whether it comes to Greenland or Venezuela or ICE, he's trying to distract Americans from his economic mismanagement. Americans have been very clear, whether Joe Biden was president or Donald Trump was president, that they feel like housing, healthcare, and utilities, the big three, are increasingly unaffordable, that getting traction as a middle-class family is increasingly hazardous, that they don't feel like their kids are going to have the same kind of shot in life that they had. And the focus of both parties needs to be, how do we treat cost disease within those three sectors? Because we all know what inflation is. What is less obvious is that inflation is not evenly spread across the economy. Inflation is concentrated in housing, healthcare, and utilities. They have cost disease. Your health premiums, your rental payments, your utility bills have cost disease. And Democrats need to be the doctors of cost disease. We got to do that by cutting regulations that make it too hard to build stuff. We got to do that by taking on special interests that price gouge, like the drug pricing middlemen. And we got to do that by adopting technology where it can help us build better, faster, and smarter.
What are the opportunities and challenges when it comes to affordable and accessible quality health care in the South Coast? A group of regional healthcare agencies has released a report with its latest assessment. The South Coast Community Health Alliance, or SOCHA, was formed in 2024 and represents 9 nonprofit and governmental health organizations across southeastern Massachusetts. The alliance worked collaboratively with South Coast Health, which owns Charlton Memorial Hospital in Fall River, to complete its triennial health needs assessment.
Identifying which community partners also are required by some entity to complete a community health needs assessment. So previously we were all conducting our own. This way, if we conducted one, we would be able to share just one document for community partners to use. A lot of people use these for grants or different applications, and it's really helpful for our community. So that's kind of what set the foundation for SOCHA. So the partners involved are all required by law, some law or entity, to conduct this assessment. The assessment has to can incorporate a couple of different pieces. So each needs to have that socioeconomic profile and a health data assessment. And then you need some qualitative data to kind of back that up. So that's in the form of interviews, focus groups, surveys, anything like that. Really, the assessment is supposed to be driven by the community needs. So whatever our community says is the most pressing, that's where we should focus our resources on.
The report identifies 9 themes of importance to the South Coast. While many of them have been of concern for many years, there was an opportunity to expand their scope.
We had overall health and wellness kind of as one bucket where like maternal health lived, chronic disease lived, and like access to care and food all kind of were under that umbrella. For this cycle, we pulled it out so they each had their own area, since there's a lot of work going on in the community in those individual areas. So to lump it together, we wanted to give more opportunity for resources to be driven specifically to an initiative. So we pulled that out. Another area that came up was the built environment, focused around like the housing infrastructure in the area, where a lot of our housing stock is older, which can lead to different things like lead paint and different things like that. So other health needs arise that people may not even know is, in their environment that they're living and breathing every day. So I would say that was another area that popped up.
St. Anne's Hospital, owned by Brown University Health, although not officially part of the alliance, allowed members to share data collected from its needs assessment it completed last spring.
It's the first time the 2 hospital systems have really come together to work collaboratively on the needs that the community faces, because it's the same population, it's basically the same needs. Yes, we have our different ways of addressing it and handling it, but largely, we're doing the same types of things because there's more need to go around. There's definitely enough. Resources are always a bit scarce, so we definitely want to play to our strengths and work together in terms of addressing the needs in the community.
St. Anne's Hospital is likely to join the alliance when both hospital groups complete their needs assessments in 2028. Late last year, the Center for Disease Control, under the leadership of Health and Human Services Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr., changed its recommendations for the administration of vaccines for diseases that are common or severe in children from 17 to 11. Massachusetts is still requiring children receive vaccines for all 17 diseases. Tess Karam, Director of Health and Human Services in Fall River, says the CDC's recommendation is not based on any credible evidence.
It's scary to see that number be reduced at the federal level. Here in Massachusetts, those 17 vaccines are still going to be, required for entry into schools and daycares from the information that I'm gathering. The decision to reduce those vaccines did not follow the traditional, evidence-based reviewing scientific data. That seemed like a decision that was made without that forethought and forecasting. And what are we going to see here in the United States if those vaccines are reduced? It's really important that families still continue to get those vaccines. There was a reason why they were on that list in the first place.
Ms. Karam says when it comes to pediatric health, parents should ensure the information they receive comes from credible sources.
It's very challenging. I think you need to check where your sources are getting their information, make sure that it is, evidence-based, that it is based on science, that it's evaluated, properly. I think that, being mindful and critical of folks on social media or, certain, articles that you're reading. Really think why and who put this out and what are the intentions there. It can be really complicating for folks, especially when it's, leaving it up to parents to continue to make more decisions and weighing on parents and on physicians to have longer conversations about the effectiveness and the importance of these vaccines.
Dozens of community members assembled at Bristol Community College on Monday to celebrate the words and teachings of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. at its annual community breakfast. The program at Bristol focused on Dr. King's teachings of justice for all. Local student Jessica Fidalgo was the winner of the college's annual essay contest commemorating Dr. King's birthday. Her essay reflected upon her own understanding of Dr. King's message, that the entire community must strive to undertake meaningful change rather than just a select few.
Dr. King reminded us that power to build a more just, compassionate, and responsive community doesn't belong only to those in high office or leading national movements. It belongs to ordinary people willing to act with care, purpose, and courage in the places they call home. King taught that history bends when people push. My experience has taught me that while one person can begin that push, the bending, ultimately transforming systems, takes all of us. And that work begins the moment each of us decides to take ownership of our communities and to treat citizenship not as a title we hold, but as the verb it truly is.
Dr. Sean Edmund Rogers, Dean of the School of Business at the University of Rhode Island, delivered the event's keynote address. He said in an era of division, the messages of Dr. King before his assassination in 1968 still carry meaning nearly 60 years later.
Dr. King's guidance for his 1968 America is as relevant as ever in our 2026 America. The country's perception of him may have evolved over the years, but his story for us remains unchanged. We find ourselves in a place and at a time where we must come to grips with what is right and what is wrong. And we must choose to do right when it is not popular. We must choose to do right when it is not politically advantageous. And we must choose to do right even when it requires us to muster up the fullest portions of our courage and our strength.
The ceremony included the donation to the college of a portrait of Fall River native and Medal of Honor winner Thomas Hudner Jr., who risked his own life in a valiant effort to save the life of a black Navy fighter pilot. We'll have more FRC Media News after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center. STEM teacher, Talbot Middle School, located at 124 Melrose Street, is looking for a full-time STEM teacher to develop and deliver engaging hands-on lessons in science, technology, engineering, and math. Job number 236-88749. HVAC controls technician. Filch Engineering seeks a full-time HVAC controls technician responsible for installing, programming, maintaining, and troubleshooting automatic temperature control systems in the Fall River area. Job number 236-73702. Service leader, Chipotle Mexican Grill, located at 575 Newton Street, is seeking a full-time service leader responsible for maintaining a positive customer experience by ensuring safe and quality food is prepared and served. Job number 236-83815. Paraprofessional Carlton Viveris Elementary School, located at 525 Slade Street, is urgently looking for a full-time paraprofessional. For more information, call 508-675-8300. Gold Medal Bakery, located at 21 Penn Street, has an immediate need for the following full and part-time positions: brake person, wrapping department, job number 236-74387. Maintenance mechanic, job number 236-83631. For more information about these or other positions, visit Mass Hire JobQuest at jobquest.dcs.eol.mass.gov or call the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
It's that time in the program where we look at some local business and economic development news with Kevin Lawrence. He's the owner, editor, and publisher of Fall River Development News on Facebook. Kevin, how are you?
Well, and happy to be here again, Keith.
All right, let's get right to a lot on our plate this week. First of all, a local auto repair shop look like it's going to be expanding in some way, shape, or form very soon.
Yes, this is Brian Vieira. He is the owner of Amy's Auto Repair at 88 Earl Street in Fall River. He's expanding his automotive empire. He's in the process of redeveloping a piece of property at the intersection of Laurel Street and Rhode Island Avenue in Fall River. He's already completed renovations on the former boarding house on the site. It was in bad disrepair. It's been transformed into 6 brand new apartments, and he's now building a new $1.5 million, 5,100 square foot auto repair sales facility on this triangular piece of property. This new auto repair facility will feature 12 bays for repair, and it's scheduled to be completed in the fall. In addition to all of that, he purchased the former Platinum Auto Collision property, which is right across the street from this triangular piece of property at 5 Laurel Street. He's also developing that, remodeling the facility, and it will have 10 bays for diagnostic and heavy auto repairs once that's completed. And his original site at 88 Earl Street for Amy's Auto Repair will be transformed into an exotic car repair facility. So a lot on Brian Vieira's plate, and he's really investing in the city.
Absolutely. He's building himself a little empire there, literally.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is Party City. Many of you have probably shopped at Party City. Well, it's got a new location in South Coast Marketplace.
Yeah, they filed for bankruptcy a while back, and they closed their location in Dartmouth as well as many throughout the country. But they're making a comeback. They have new owners. They're doing a smaller store within a store concept, and that is now at the Staples location at the South Coast Marketplace in Fall River. So inside the Staples, there's now a small Party City location. It offers balloons, decorations, and party supplies, integrating office and party needs for convenience after Party City's corporate stores closed. This partnership allows Staples to offer a wider range of party goods while Party City expands its reach into new access points. So this is a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving forward, as we always like to do, we always like to end with some restaurant news. We always like to eat. Haas Halal Food. We talked about this a while back about them, moving into the Fall River area. They're a few steps closer.
Yeah, they're officially partially open. It's Naz's Halal Food. This is at 167 Broadway, adjacent to the Papa John's Pizza location. They had a soft opening earlier this week. Their official grand opening is Saturday, January 24th. And the menu at Naz's specializes in rice platters and gyros with lamb chicken, fish, falafels, kebabs. They also have burgers, chicken sandwiches, Philly cheesesteaks, and chicken wings. So a different kind of cuisine for the city of Fall River. It's a fast food restaurant, but it looks like they've got some high quality items on the menu.
And finally, we've talked a lot about the former LePage's Seafood on Martine Street. New entities going in there, and you can actually see some of that process before our eyes.
Yeah, the construction fences are up at 439 Martine Street. Renovations are underway for a new restaurant concept. The real estate closing was officially completed earlier this month. The new owners are Tanya Novo and her brother Joshua. They're excited about bringing a new venture to Fall River. It's going to be called Anchor and Stone. The renovations are underway. They're going to be investing a lot of money rehabbing the facility. They own Black Salt in Swansea, which is very popular. That restaurant will remain open. This will be their second facility. It'll be a nautical-inspired restaurant and much larger than their Swansea location, with room for 180 guests inside and another 40 to 50 outside on the patio. And they plan to hire about 60 full and part-time staff once it's completed, and they're aiming for a summer opening on Martine Street in Fall River.
All right, you can find out more and find out what Kevin's been working on by following him and Fall River Development News on Facebook. Kevin, I appreciate your time. We'll talk again next week. Take care.
Thank you, Keith.
And finally this week, we marked the passing of a local sports legend. Former longtime Durfee boys basketball coach Thomas Skip Karam passed away over the weekend at the age of 91. He coached the Hilltoppers for 34 years, retiring in 1994. He ranks third as the all-time winningest high school boys basketball coach in Massachusetts with 659 wins. He led Durfee to 7 state championship appearances, winning the title in 1966, 1977, 1984, 1988, and 1989. He reflected upon his career in late 2021 when the city dedicated the basketball court within the Luke Urban Fieldhouse at Durfee in his honor.
I have spent my life loving the game and Durfee High School. I am proud to have the opportunity to coach so many great teams with so many great players. Durfee holds a special place in my heart. I graduated just about from here, and so did my siblings and children. I can remember when I started, I was young and inexperienced. My coaching style was old school. I had a full head of hair and a passion for winning. As time goes on and my memory fades, which has faded a lot, I might not be able to remember every player I coached. However, I will always remember how great it was to feel the energy and enthusiasm from our fans and how great it felt to win.
Once they all believed in dragons, when the world was fresh and young. We were woven into legends. Tales were told and songs were sung. We were treated with obeisance. We were honored. We were feared. Then one day they stopped believing. On that day, we disappeared. Now they say our time is over. Now they say we've lived our last. Now we're treated with derision, where once we ruled unsurpassed. We must make them all remember. In some way, we must reveal that our spirit lives forever. We are dragons. We are real. Here there be dragons and other creatures that never were at the Narrow Center for the Arts, 16 Anawan Street in Fall River, Massachusetts. An exploration into the realm of dragons inspired by world mythology, folklore, and literature. Other creatures, both fierce and fabulous, taken from the furthest corners of man's imagination, will also be featured in these three-dimensional ceramic sculptures. Fall River artist David Mello invites you to come face to face and claw to claw with these remarkable, timeless creatures of legend. January 17th through March 28th. Reception date, January 24th. 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock p.m.
That's a wrap for this week's edition of FRC Media News. Please check our website, frmedia.org, for more local news and information. FRC Media News airs Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Fridays at 5:30 p.m. on Channel 95 and the Fall River HD channel, which you can find on Channel 1072. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next Thursday.